going to do a few different relay races. Now, what's going to happen, whichever team wins from each house, we're going to say each grade, will receive points for their team. But here you need to pay careful attention. Points are going to be given for different reasons. One, you obviously won the race. You got back to the finish line before the girls did, or the girls got there before the boys did. So again, red boys are racing red girls, green boys are racing green girls. It's not boy against boy. It's not purple girls against blue boys. It's just your house stuff. But also, you receive a point for what? Following the rules. I'm going to give a rule to each race. And then probably the most important way to get a point is showing what? What I mean by that is that you are being respectful to your teammates. You're not pointing at the other team and laughing at them. Okay? Because that's going to be one of our rules. Okay? Because the other rule is be a good winner and a good what? So just because the blue boys win, they may get a point. But if the blue boys broke one of the rules, we may take that point away. Or if the green girls are pointing and laughing at the green boys, that's a bad loser. So we're going to say, hey, green girls, you got that point, but you just canceled it because you were pointing and laughing. Okay, so like I said, cheer each other on. Don't yell at one of your friends because they messed up. There's times when people aren't paying attention, and you've got to get their attention. Do it in a polite way. Got it? Got it? Okay, like I said, if you're doing that, look. So yes, you are correct. They are passing it with their feet. Which is why in a few minutes we're going to spread these teams out a little bit further because you've got to run through. Like right here, this is a tight space for green and purple to be able to run through here. So we will give y'all some room in a second. Okay? I only have one rule. What is it? If it falls on the floor, you got to figure out something. So once it gets to the end, okay, once it reaches the last person is going to run to the front of the line, and they're going to begin passing it again. And this is going to continue and continue over and over, just like that. You see, last person takes off and gets back to the front. Okay, now I will say this. Again, I don't have rules for this one because I made this last night, but if I had rules, it would be the same thing. Stay close together. Okay, they are pretty close. I can live with that. I could probably ask them to be a little bit closer, especially those girls in the front. Okay, I would say that's a little too much space in the front. Okay, so you don't have to like literally be on top of the person, but like I said, just get close like this. Second thing, if you skip somebody, that's part of the rules too. Okay, so you got to be paying attention. Eyes forward. Okay, if you have to get somebody's attention, if Mrs. Dominic's not paying attention, yeah, I need to get her attention, but I'm not going to do it in a rude way. Now the first person is actually going to start right here on the track, so that way we have room to lay out, because our head is basically going to go on the red line, and your stomach's going to go right here, so we'll be laid out across the track right here. And of course, first person, you can see for yourself, you start crawling through. Now what I want to point out out is you don't have to wait for that person to get through the tunnel. Notice some of these tunnels have almost 2 to 3 kids in them. In fact, your tunnels are a lot bigger than their tunnels, so you may be able to fit 4 people in there. All we ask is you do not take off until the person gets about 3 people down the tunnel. So as long as their feet are pretty clear of you, you can go ahead and start. You don't have to ask us. I would say let them get past 3 or 4 people, and then you can take off safely and go through. Now, once your team reaches the purple dot or tape over by the shader, you can see by the backpacks, you've got your tape. Whoever happens to be crawling through the tunnel at that time, if they're coming out of the tunnel and they see this purple dot and their hand can touch it, hopefully by then they're yelling at their team that is in bridges to get up and run safely back to their cone, because the first team that actually gets back to their cone in a seated position is obviously the winner of the game. Okay, so that's on you to be able to touch that purple dot and tell your team you did it, but you've got to run back. Okay? Now, what are the rules of this? You must stay what? Does everybody understand that part? Okay. Now, here's what's going to happen. Once we see everybody in position, and notice, are they far away or close together? The closer you are, the better it's going to work. That's why we put girls with girls and boys with boys, okay? So you can be close together. Now, when we say go, you're literally doing that right there. You're holding on with their hands, but you're scooting with your boot. Kind of moving your booty all the way down the ground, all the way to the other side. So you're kind of moving your feet and moving your hands like a little caterpillar or a centipede. You're going to get coached all. Perfect. Okay, that's how it should look. Now, look up at the screen. Once your centipede or your caterpillar, whatever you want to call it, when there gets down here to this purple dot, you're scooting, you're scooting, you're scooting. When you're finally here at the purple dots, okay, look up at the screen. You're going to stand up. You're going to run safely, because this is a lot of kids. You're going to run back to your cone, and the first team that is sitting quietly in the cone is the what? They're the winner of the game. Okay, but like I said, a lot of kids in here. It is a race, but be careful. Okay. The only rules I have. If you fall apart, like look at my little yellow arrow. Look at those boys. Their centipede broke apart. Okay? You must what? So if Miss Hoffman sees the red girls have broken apart, she's going to say, red girl, stop. And then she's going to have them freeze. Or she's going to have this group back up and rejoin again. Okay? So like I said, if you break apart, you've got to stop. We'll tell you to do that. That's why you got to be very close together. And hold on tight, okay? Then we'll reattach. Each team obviously has a large pull move, okay? And this is pretty much similar to what we just did. But like I said, the other games require a lot more room, and we have way too many kids here to do the other two safely. Okay, so what's going to happen now is exactly what you see right there. So it is no different basically than what you just did, except you're not necessarily passing it, like handing it off, you're just kind of moving it, and you're going to put a lot of hands on that tool doodle. Okay, you're just going all the way down. I'm going to remind you again, notice we're on the other side of the gym, because once that pull noodle, not you, once the pull noodle gets across the purple dot, that's when you can run. Okay? And you notice this game goes a lot quicker, so we're going to be finished pretty quickly. It can get very chaotic. And remember what I love the word Miss Donna used, shenanigans. Okay, and so am I, but we're doing it very orderly and we're staying in line. Okay, if you see a half the team standing up, only 3 people are passing the noodle, that's a problem. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's not about speed, it's about technique. Okay, once again, what does it say? Guys, stay close together. We're looking at that, and it's going to go very quickly, so we can't really remind you of it right now. So we're going to be adjusting.